Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what I believe may be the finale of the Link to the Past playthrough. In our last episode, we obtained all the crystals, effortlessly, mind you, with our current equipment, and now we're making our way to the top of Death Mountain so that we can go back to... so that we can pay Ganon a visit. Now, up until this point, we've actually made our way up the mountain to the left of Death Mountain. But with the right equipment, you can actually make your way to the top of Death Mountain from the right. There is a formation of rocks here. There is nothing special about these. It's just some design that the developers put here to add some intrigue, you know, to waste your time, I think. Now, there is a bit of a glitch you can do that some players have discovered that you can do with this gap in the bridge. Suffice to say, this is not a nebulous void. This is just... you're basically so high up that the water is barely animated. Anyway, you want to use your hook shot. And you can make your way to the various caves over here. Now, there is no real significance to these caves here. I mean, I'm just going to show one of them off, just to say that I did. But anyway, I think it's this hole here. If I'm not mistaken, I think this right here is the same... yeah, I think this was the same, yeah, that's the same cave that we used when we were getting the, when we were in Turtle Rock to get those fairies. Now, this right here, I believe they call it Paradox Cave, because despite being the lowest point, let's see, okay, so you bomb this. Come inside here. So you can get some bombs and arrows. This is basically a cave that speedrunners look forward to, because they usually do a trick called bomb jumping, where they place a bomb over there and they just jump the gap by way of explosion. But anyway... this is one of the hype caves, I guess. Now, of course, this is not a randomizer, so unfortunately, the only thing we'll find in here are 100 rupees in denominations of 20. So, nice 100 rupees if you need it. Yeah. So unfortunately, I think I have to. Oh, really? I gotta bomb this? Yeah, so as an homage to the original Legend of Zelda, I think they have this cave here. We don't really need anything from this place, so we'll just leave. Anyway, come back here. I think it's this cave, actually. No? I'm pretty sure you can... I was almost certain that you could actually climb up the mountain from here. Wait, no? Was it up here? Yeah, it was up here. Okay. Okay, here we go. You can get a fairy here. Now, unfortunately, regardless regardless of which path we take, we have to come over. If we want to get to Ganon's tower, we have to basically come through here anyway. So these enemies here, you cannot actually damage them with your sword, but you can sprinkle magic powder or use the Quake Medallion to turn them into what's called, I think they're called bots. You basically turn them into, like, jelly bean or trash bag monsters, and you can easily dispatch them with your sword. Okay. Actually, let's just get some more rupees, why not? Sometimes you actually can get 80 rupees. I don't know what triggers it, but... Okay. And this is the only time you'll actually see Lionels in this game. The 3DS game, Link Between Worlds, actually gives Lionels a bit more to do. And they're a bit more trickier to deal with in that game, but... Anyway. Yeah, so this glowing tower that you may have seen much earlier in the game was Ganon's tower, so... And here we are, Ganon's tower. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you go to the left door or the right door. Ultimately, both paths will loop on each other. I particularly like to use the left path, so we can probably just use that. You can try to go to the upper path, but you'll be blocked because you'll need the big key at some point. Anyway. Because, yeah, I mean, if you use this key on this door here, see, you can come up these stairs here. See? Illusion of choice, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway. Get some bombs, arrows. There is a switch here, but of course, it's not the one you need. And once again, you got one of those sensitive pressure plate switches. So, take out the red cane. Okay. Okay, so just occasionally avoid the wall master, or floor master, whichever you call it. Defeat all the enemies, grab a key, and there we go. I suppose if I had... Okay, so this is another one of those rooms where you need to light the torches here. Okay, light this, come over here, light this one real quick, light this one, quickly make your way to the south, and presto. I'm going to go ahead and use the Bombo's medallion, get rid of the other two Gibdos here. Now, if you want to save your magic, you can use bombs to trigger this switch, or you can use your cane. You know, just to get there faster if you want. Okay. You get a compass, which you don't really need. So, room teleporter will teleport you to another part of the dungeon here. You can come up here and grab a key. Okay, so you'll have to be quick because the floor breaks away here, but you can use your cape or your blue cane or your cane of Burna to actually avoid taking hits there. Unfortunately, I'm out of magic right now, but don't worry, we have 3 blue potions. You know, we're not hurting. We're not going to be hurting anytime soon here. Carefully navigate your way to pull the statue away from that switch, and these are actually invisible floors, so I mean, you can light a torch to actually make them visible, but you don't need to. And here we come to this room here. Now, as you can see, the enemies that appear to be floating, there actually is another invisible path, which we actually will need to take. Now, 2 things about this. Now, you can use now there are 3 ways you can expose the path. You can, if you have more than enough magic to do so, constantly blast ether to reveal the path, or you can use your Cane of Samaria to create a block and push the block ever so slightly, so that if the block disappears, you'll know that there's a bottomless pit right next to you. Or you can light the torch, or you can come to the upper corner up here, right here, and blast that the torch there with a fire rod and reveal the path that way. Now, here's the thing. Now, I'm gonna blast the path here just to show. Actually, can I with that guy standing there? Okay. Oops. Alright. So, here's the thing. Oops. No. Alright, so you see how there's only a 1 tile gap in between? The reason I didn't break both of the pots is because you can use your Pegasus boots to actually just jump that small gap. Oops. Okay. Alright. Alright. And there we go. See? And the path does not change from playthrough to playthrough. I mean, it's an early SNES game, so everything's pre-programmed. So if you wanted to save your magic and such, you know, that's a quick and easy way to get through here. All right, so you got 4 holes or 4 cracked floor tiles. The one with the most cracks is the one you want to bomb. And presto, this dungeon has the return of the medallion bosses. If you have bow and silver arrows, these guys can go down. These guys go down like chumps if you have a bow and silver arrow. Just shoot them all. Just shoot them all with arrows, and you know you can dispatch them quickly. Make sure you take the upper path, because otherwise you will block yourself from getting the big key. And yes, you would then have to fight those guys again. So grab some materials. And make your way up those steps. If you need to, you can actually come through here, grab a fairy or 2. You know, I mean, it's all good. 2 fairies will bring our life back to full. Can't say the same for our magic, but, you know, it is what it is. come up here, and already you get you get a chest. This is the red mail. If you thought the blue mail, well, it even says it provides better protection. So yes, we have the red mail. Unfortunately, this is part of that trope in Zelda games where the best armor in the game is actually toward the end of the game where, you know, nothing really much matters. Then you come back up here and, oh hey, this looks familiar. So now that we have the big key and the red mail, we can come up to the second set of steps here. Okay, you want to push this block to open that door down below. Come down here. And here we have to destroy those Gorias in order to move the way forward. Now you can push and pull this statue to, you know, help dispose of one of the traps here. But like I said, you can manipulate the Gorias to actually come to you. So, in fact, we can even line them both up like so. And then just blast them with the arrows. As long as you're not directly facing a Goriya. You want to give yourself plenty of time to shoot an arrow and lead them into it. Now, of course, the BMO statues here aren't going to make that easy. Yeah, so despite having the mirror shield, they don't really do much against the BMO statues. Kind of a rip-off, if you ask me, but oh well. So, make your way up here. So, fun fact about these cannonball shooters that you see along the walls. There actually is a sprite or an unused sprite in the game where those are supposedly enemies blasting you through the wall, but I don't know, don't really see it myself. Okay, so you see, much like how we got the cape early without having to get the Titan's Mitt, we can actually position ourselves in just such a way where we can actually use the Pegasus boots to dash into these two bricks over here in order to be able to jump this gap. This is another trick that Nintendo Power, I believe, actually pointed out. So you come up here, you know, you can get some, I believe you can get magic here too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. So you can refill your life, magic, you know, all that good stuff. And then you can climb further up the tower. You know, if you got plenty of magic, you can just spam your medallions. Trivialize the dangers here. Speedrunners already got it down to a science to where they don't need to use medallions to clear rooms, but I don't know, I don't consider myself a speedrunner, so no worries there, right? Yeah, some of these rooms are just ridiculous. Slippery floors, conveyor belts, and spike traps. Oh, what did I do to deserve this? Yeah, so a lot of these rooms are just difficult for the sake of being difficult, I guess. Magic powder. Turn that into a fairy. And, surprise, the return of this boss. Now, if you have the gold sword, I think you only need, like, 2 sword swings. You know, per sandworm, I guess. I don't remember. I don't know the name of them, actually, so... Yeah, so they're not really difficult to beat. Come up here. Just grab a few items if you need them. Okay, so this is another... Yeah, so you probably didn't see... You may or may not have seen it with the... But there was an invisible path there. As long as it's not an enemy that can be frozen solid, the ether is actually the quickest medallion you can use to deal with a lot of these enemies. Okay, so this is another one of those puzzles that requires... I mean, you don't absolutely need to use the fire rod, but, you know, I do, if only because it's quicker, in my opinion. So quickly make your way to this room here. You can get some extra magic here. If you're quick about it, you don't really need to worry about the laser eyes. You want to blast those torches quickly. So you can get some supply, you can get some extra bombs here, I guess, if you need them. Now, we already had a key, so we probably didn't need to fight so much, but you can use the bombs for this crack in the wall here. Magic powder. Top ourselves off here. Grab an extra key. And yes, it's the return of Moldorm. But he can be difficult to beat. If he knocks you down, he'll knock you into a special room down below, and you can come up from the staircase up to the north there. But again, 2 hits with the gold sword to his tail, and he goes down like a chump. Chest will spawn 20 rupees. Hook shot. Okay. Now, if you don't want to take any damage, you can use your cape here to get through this with no problem. But yeah, you come up these steps and, yep, already it's time for the boss. And who is the boss of this tower? Why, it's our good buddy Agahnim. He tells you that he's happy to see you, but that there will not be a third meeting. Well, we'll see. Yeah, well, we're onto your scheme. So, unlike in the previous Agahnim fight, this Agahnim will not actually use lightning, but the real Agahnim will still occasionally fire that annoying blue fireballs that break apart when you swing at him. It it is possible to position yourself in such a way that you can actually deflect all the magical blasts from his copies right onto him. But never actually got a chance to do that myself. Oh, and by the way, even with the gold sword, you still can't hit him directly. So, I'm hoping that... So, let's hope you didn't forget that tidbit about fighting Agahnim. You can try to use the silver arrow on him, but he's immune to arrows. I mean, pretty weak if you ask me. I mean, I thought the silver arrows were supposed to be OP, but, I don't know. I guess it's only for specific enemy types, I guess. Of course, in later Zelda games... So anyway, you dispatch of Ganon... See, it's a little hard to tell if Agahnim was just a wizard under his control or if he was just a puppet in the end, like a construct, if you will. Because, as I pointed out a few episodes ago, I think episode 4, you know, like with these statues here, I mean, if you compared Agahnim's sprite with these statues, it almost conveys the idea that maybe Agahnim is just like, one of these statues came to life or something. But then again, how did he get to the light world, you know? I mean, it doesn't really make too much sense, I guess. Now, you may have noticed this earlier in this playthrough, this hole down here in the lower left corner here. That's in case you fall through the gap in the floor. Okay, so we actually should probably top ourselves off with health. Luckily, we don't have to go very far for that. Let's see. Dispatch the enemies. I don't think hearts are in the grass. Well, anyway. This tree over here will always spawn a fairy, so we can get ourselves topped off. If you ever needed some more rupees, you can pull this statue up here. Okay, well that was just 20 rupees. Alright, so I think we're good to go here. Alright. So yeah, fun fact: if you are quick about this, you can actually get a free hit in before his dialogue. Ganon basically tells you that he thinks it's unbelievable that you beat the Dark Wizard twice. Yeah, so these fire bats actually hurt even with the red tunics, so I don't recommend bumping into him or Ganon for that matter. Yeah, Ganon himself deals quite a bit of damage, so as you can see, I'm already struggling here. We'll just go ahead and use a cure-all. Okay, so, blah blah blah, secret technique of darkness. Now, in this phase of the fight, he's actually immune to damage until you actually reveal him. once both of the torches are lit, he'll actually briefly become stunned with the sudden change in light. When he turns blue after swinging him with his sword, that's your cue to use a silver arrow. I believe you need to use silver arrows on him 3 times. Now you have to be careful because the torches actually have their own timer as far as how long they're lit for. Yeah, so you can easily miss your chance both times here. Yeah, so the torches go out real quick as well, so... Oop. Okay, so I guess it was 4 arrows here. And so you'll celebrate your victory. And of course, you know, room in the back will light up. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a suspend point here. We've already effectively beaten the game, but I want to show this off here. So, it is entirely possible that during the fight with Ganon, you can actually fall in the small spaces here. In fact, you can even willingly fall here now if you want. And you're basically taken to this room. You may or may not see otherwise. So if for whatever reason you didn't get the silver arrows, you can actually explore this a little bit, and you'll get your last tip here. When Ganon is stunned, give him his last moment with a silver arrow. Do you understand? So basically that just tells you that you got to use the silver arrows. I'm not entirely sure if the fortune tellers tell you that you can find this silver arrows inside the pyramid or not, but yeah, so there you go. So you can come down here, and that's where you would exit from. And despite the fact that we've already beaten Ganon technically, if you were to come back, even though we've already technically beaten Ganon, if you come back here, whether you fall through the hole in the middle of the fight or after you've already beaten him, the battle will just reset. Yeah. So you can just fight Ganon again if you want. But we've already beaten him, so we've got nothing to prove. We'll just reverse time here. Come through here, and yeah, we've beaten the game. So the Triforce basically tells you, I'm the essence of the Triforce. So it's not the Triforce itself, I guess. And basically, the Triforce will grant the wishes of the heart and mind of the person who touches it. You know, you'd think I'm not entirely sure what the logic with the Triforce is, if to allow anybody to use it, good or evil. I don't know. I guess they allow anybody to use the Triforce because, you know, I mean, I don't mean to get philosophical here, you know, but I guess there is a possibility that, you know, there is a point where good becomes good, you know, being good and righteous, or overly good and righteous, is in and of itself kind of an evil, you know? Like, pure is impure and impure is somehow pure, you know? Like, things are like the opposite of what you think they should be, you know? But, you know, I digress. So, once again, the Triforce basically tells you what you already know. Blah, blah, blah. You know, good person touches Triforce, good things happen. Bad person touches Triforce, bad things happen. You know, prophecy, you know, and everyone else is like prophecy. If evil touches the Triforce, good is destined to appear. So, I guess one day evil will appear to try to challenge good now. I don't know. Now the Triforce says we've totally destroyed Ganon, but I've already proven otherwise. Now touch it with a wish in our heart. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and mute this. Not because the song isn't bad, it's just I'm kind of worried about copyright at this point. I mean, I've only ever uploaded the first episode at the time of this recording, so I don't even know what'll come about, if anything. Yeah, so this right here, oops. So this right here, if you look real carefully, I mean, it kind of looks like his sprite is messed up, like he's half red and half blue for whatever reason. But no, he's actually holding a Bible in his right hand. He's actually reading a book. I never looked at it that way or knew that until I saw a speedrun where, you know, they changed the credits slightly to say read a book. So, yeah, it's one of those funny things where you could look at something and, you know, for whatever reason your eyes focus on something completely different about it and it just changes the shape of what you're looking at. Like you can see numbers on the house, right? If you have contrasting colors, you know, if you look at it in a special way, it kind of looks like, if you focus more on like the gaps in between, it kind of looks like just weird symbols. Oh, just something I thought I'd point out. So my thoughts on the game itself. Honestly, I mean, this game still holds up well today. I mean, suffice to say, this game has been done to death, you know. We now have speedrunners, we now have unofficial ROM hacks of this game to allow randomizers to exist. I mean, personally, I think, you know, Nintendo could stand to, you know, take a lateral move and, you know, like if they can't beat the speedrunners, if they can't beat the, you know, modders, you know, like just create something that lets players make it, you know. I mean, they did the same thing with Mario Maker, right? Like they couldn't completely quash all the, all of the modding community. So they're like, okay, well, if you want to mod the game, you know, why don't we give you a user-friendly version, you know, just basically create a game that just, in a complete lateral move, you know, instead of quashing would-be fans of the series who like your game so much that they're willing to mod it, just give them a game where you can do that, you know? I mean, Nintendo would get their money and, you know, nobody has to cry, you know? Anyway, personal thoughts on this game. I think it all holds up well. I mean, I don't really... But like I said, I mean, when it comes to certain puzzles, like with the you know, like with the blacksmiths there, I mean, if the smith partner had said, oh, I last saw my partner said something about checking out a book, you know, maybe it would have led to people, you know, to be like, oh, maybe he's in the dark world. Maybe he's where the library would be in the dark world, you know? But no, they didn't really say that. I mean, there is a fortune teller that will tell you that you can find Smith's lost partner in the Village of Outcasts, but again, they don't really say where. And I would disagree to say that... I mean, when I think of the village, when I think of the Village of Outcasts or Kakariko Village, generally you think of, like, the main hub, right? You don't really think of the areas that exist just outside the main village, right? Like the library that's off to the side, the chess game that's off to the side, or even that maze that you can go through to get a piece of heart, you know? Now, this game, now they fixed it. I don't want to say they necessarily fixed it in the GBA version of the game, but the GBA version of the game and this version treat the number of lives or games played very differently. The SNES version here, for example, if you want a perfect score of 0, 0 lives used, you have to effectively, well, back in the day anyway, you would effectively have to play perfectly with no breaks in between. You can't save and quit. You can't even be revived by a fairy. Anytime you save and quit and reload, or use a fairy, or even a game over, that counts as a quote-unquote game played. So if you want 0, you have to use no fairies, don't fall in battle, and don't quit your game at any point. Now, I've done it on the SNES original, so it wasn't easy because, back in the day, they always said, don't play the games for too long, because back then, they didn't have cooling fans for your games, so more times than not, unless you were playing in a very cold basement, so you would have to so in order to keep a game running, you would have to basically almost play in a very cold atmosphere to keep your console cold, or have a cooling fan on it, I guess, or like a miniature fan pointed at the console, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's one of the things you would have had to do. Otherwise, because otherwise, oh, sorry. Now, the GBA version, thankfully, is a little bit more forgiving in this department, in which case, you can use fairies, and, it'll still only count the quote lives lost. You can save and quit and use a fairy, and it still wouldn't count as a death, so. I guess in regards to, I said this earlier, but, as I was thinking about doing a playthrough of this game, they actually released the GBA version, or re-released the GBA version of this game on the Nintendo Online service here. Unfortunately, they didn't give it the same treatment like, the Mario 3 GBA version did, where they basically add all the e-reader levels to it. So, yeah, effectively the Four Swords adventure on the GBA is basically the same game that the 25th anniversary Four Swords did in the DSiWare. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Unfortunately, I would have to effectively play with friends, and I don't have friends, and you can't play this game online, I don't think. So, and even then, I think the lag would have been a problem. Huh. What? Wait, did they fix this? No. I distinctly remember... No. I distinctly remember losing a life. There should be one here. I didn't edit anything out here. So did they fix this to just say games played then? Could I have always revived using a fairy? Because I'm pretty sure in the Super Nintendo original, that counted as a game played. Huh. Unless there had been other versions of the Super Nintendo game that had been released since, and they just fixed it for this port. But yeah, total games played, 0. So yeah, perfect score. Go us, huh? But anyway, yeah, so the extra dungeon in the GBA version, I mean, you're not missing out on anything. It's just, it's just a very short but challenging dungeon with challenging versions of the bosses that are already in the game. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this game. The only other thing I can say is that this was one of the games my father played back in the day at length before he became primarily a PC gamer. The whole strategy Age of Empires kind of thing, But yeah, back then, I mean, he played back then, before there was an internet. I mean, there was a Super Nintendo, and this was one of the games he played. Now, of course, I already did a medley of sorts of the games that he played on the Super Nintendo. Other games he played that, I'm surprised didn't get a release on the service here are King Arthur's World. He played that. There was also other war-type games like Super Battle Tank, War in the Gulf, and Super Battle Tank 2. But I don't know. I guess there must be some licensing with Gary Kitchen or something. It's kind of funny because, or not so funny, I guess. When Russia as recent as 2022 attacked, Ukraine, I thought maybe in the absence of that Advance Wars remake, that they would probably have released like Desert Strike or PTO or Conflict or Super Conflict, for the online service, but no, I guess ironically or nebulously, we say we're, we shy away from war games, and yet we still have them. They still exist. I mean, if I recall, Conflict and Super Conflict were made, like in the latter years of the Cold War. So, yeah, I don't really see a whole... I guess, we're kind of trying to be more sensitive nowadays, but I don't know. 6 degrees of separation, right? Not everybody's... I'm sorry to say, not everybody is offended because, well, some people just don't have a personal stake in matters, But, anyway, I'm getting way off topic, so I should probably just end the episode here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this playthrough. I had a blast playing it, so I hope anybody who watched this game got some tips out of it and tricks out of it. So, you don't necessarily have to play it the way I did, but, there is a fun way to play it. It is just a fun way to play it. Another fun way you could play it is purposefully avoid, like, certain upgrades. Like, I think you can actually play the game without a bottle. I don't think you'd absolutely need one. So, yeah, if you want a challenge run, there is one possibility. You don't... So, yeah. So, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next playthrough, which... I haven't decided yet, but I think more than likely it'll probably be the Nintendo World Championships NES edition. So, hopefully, that'll be a fun time and not copyright struck. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.